Once upon a time, in a kingdom nestled between great, rolling mountains, there lived a king who ruled over a prosperous land. But despite his wealth, the king grew deeply tired of the endless noise, arguments, and demands of his court. Wishing to find true serenity, he announced a grand competition, a chest of gold to the artist who could paint the most perfect picture of peace. Word spread quickly, and soon the finest artists from across the realm traveled to the castle hall, bringing their masterpieces. The king walked past dozens of canvases. Some showed quiet forests, others showed sleeping children, but none quite captured what he was searching for. Finally, he narrowed his choice to two. The first was a picture of a calm lake, a flawless mirror reflecting towering mountains. The second picture was completely different. It featured jagged, dark mountains, an angry sky heavy with rain, and a roaring, turbulent waterfall. It did not look peaceful at all. The courtiers murmured in disapproval, confused as to why the king would even consider a painting filled with such violence and chaos. But as the king stepped closer, he noticed something the others had missed. Behind the waterfall, in a crack in the rock, a mother bird sat on her nest in perfect, quiet stillness. This is the winner. True peace does not mean to be where there is no noise or trouble. It means to be in the midst of that chaos and still remain completely calm in your heart. The king summoned the artist of the storm, a humble, quiet man from the mountains, and gladly presented him with the promised chest of gold. The painting did not go into a dusty gallery. The king ordered it placed directly above his throne, as a constant reminder. It was not long before the king's new wisdom was put to the test. The court was once again filled with loud arguments, complaints, and endless demands. But this time, instead of growing angry or exhausted, the king simply looked up at the tiny bird resting in the storm. He found his center. With a quiet, steady voice, he settled every dispute. The chaos of the room could no longer shake his inner peace. Slowly, the story of the king and the painting spread throughout the realm. The people began to understand the lesson. They learned that they did not need to run away to the silent mountains to find tranquility. They could find it exactly where they were. Years later, a fierce and terrible physical storm swept over the kingdom, shaking the very stones of the castle. But inside, the king and his people remained entirely undisturbed. They had become just like the little bird in the rock. For they knew that true peace is not the absence of the storm, but the quiet strength to sing while it rains. Many years passed. The wise king grew old and eventually left the world, passing his heavy crown to his granddaughter, the young queen. The young queen, Lung Queen, loved her people deeply, but she soon faced a trial unlike any other, the longest, harshest winter the realm had ever seen. Crops were buried, rivers froze solid, and a deep, anxious fear began to grip the hearts of the kingdom. Once again, the great hall filled with the noise of panic and despair. The chaos of the storm had returned. Overwhelmed, the young queen looked up at her grandfather's painting. But to her, it was just old, cracked paint. She did not know how to stop the winter. Then, she remembered the story he used to read to her. The bird didn't survive by stopping the waterfall. It survived by holding perfectly still. She found her calm. She did not yell over the noise. She simply radiated a peace so profound that the entire hall fell silent. Inspired by her quiet strength, the panic melted away. The people shared their fires, split their food, and weathered the bitter cold together. Eventually, the ice thawed. Spring returned, and the kingdom emerged stronger, and more united than ever before. The queen had the painting restored so the kingdom would never forget the moral of the story. True peace is the quiet sanctuary you build within your own heart.